have it. We're starting off with the Nigerian news direct, with leads with OPEC. Oh yes, oil is big in any conversation we have. FG calls for investments to boost production, energy security. You see this one as Lokwabiri laments unfair financing structure for African countries. We're not going to be doing this alone. We're joined on the program this morning by Mr. Fetayo Adeni, public affairs analyst, joined us virtually on the program. Mr. Fetayo, good morning. It's good to see you again.
Good morning from London, and good to join the program once again.
Absolutely, Mr. Fetayo. But take a look at the big story. We know that oil is the cash cow. Some say it's a distraction, because there are other things going on in the extractive industry with gold and all of that. But hey, we still talk about oil. But clearly, we're still under this mountain of oil, boosting production. Our budget assumptions are high up there in terms of the production, the output, and then the price. But when the reality hits, it is not as it is. So we're trying to ramp up in that sense. Are you tired maybe of this always barking at this tree of oil when we've said time and again that we have other options that we could explore? Is it that we're just stuck in this oil matter?
Hello? Come again. I missed the last part.
I'm asking if you think, are we stuck? Because we've been talking about diversifying for decades now, but we're still here somehow.
Yeah, I think based on the newspaper that you just showed, because I barely hear what you're saying, but talking about our production, you know, just like I've always said on this forum, that you can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. And what are the things, the money that have been realized, what are they being used for? All this why we heard that we produce thousands of barrels every day, and there's the issue of crude oil theft, and I don't think that has been addressed properly. And NNPC came out for the first time that they have 100% production last month. So I think it is high time government needs to be transparent and accountable for whatever that have been realized, what have been used for, who got what, the percentage of utilization of the fund. So calling for investment to boost production and energy security. What are you doing with what you have before people can believe on it or can make more investment? I'll save our investment. The issue of oil theft, I'm sure you are here when a vessel was arrested. We don't know who was behind it, who has been prosecuted. So we just allow it to whistle away. Those are the things that boost the confidence of an investor. When you take care of your home very well, then people will got to respect you. But if it is business as usual, the same thing will still continue.
Now let's go to the Guardian newspaper, Mr. Fetayo, and it's also speaking to visa restrictions as was captured in other papers this morning. Listen to this. International travel restrictions spark fresh row over absence of ambassadors. You find it on page 6. You know, and before that, I just took a look at a New Telegraph. Of course, that will come later. There's also a visa restriction coming from the UAE. How are you processing, you know, this the concerns arising from this visa restriction from the U.S. government and indeed from, you know, other parts of the world, Mr. Fetayo?
Yeah, first and foremost, if you don't project your country, if you don't have anything to offer, it's very easy for international community to just pass you here and there. Talking about giving us Nigerian, we're applying for US, for example, that is going to be single entry of a 3-month visa. I think there's what they call reciprocity, that just like you pat me at the back, I pat you at the back. I'm sure this is high time the government need to put the ambassador of those countries on their toes, that what's going on, this is what we offer you, and we've been enjoying this relationship, you know, making it difficult for our people, you know, in exchange of education, visiting their loved one, and all of that. That is a thing that I think they need to look at and review. And if, just like I remember, the U.S. government said one time, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, I stand to be corrected, when they said the amount of money that the Nigerian government charged their citizens to obtain Nigerian visa is that's why they are increasing it. And I think they tend to review it. This is a diplomatic issue. And I think in a few days, they should be able to review it, whatever it is. The benefit they felt that the U.S. government, or citizen rather, and the UAE citizen are enjoying in Nigeria, if they cannot reciprocate that, I think the federal government should retaliate as well. You know, you can't say that we enjoy a cordial relationship, you know, bilateral relationship, and you stand to take more advantage than what my people can get from your country.
All right, Mr. Fetayo, let's go to the Vanguard newspaper, leading with politics. 2027, don't underestimate Tinubu. Ribado warns opposition. You can see that story on the page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. The writers, ADC slams presidency over alleged plot to overthrow Tinubu, says it's ploy to repress opposition. Governors, APC leaders secretly supporting coalition. Babache, that's the former SGF. LP can't win election, will contest on ADC tickets. That's Ireti Kingibe, according to the Vanguard. Don't write us off yet, PDP. It's not losing ground to ADC. So everybody's speaking, Mr. Fetayo. What do you make of this?
Yes, of course. They are all speaking based on their own interests. Of course, who pays the piper dictate the tune. You don't expect Ribadu to say otherwise, because he's working in this administration and saying that, look, whatever it is that you are doing, I don't think you know what's up, what is going on, because the president, you can underestimate him as you are planning your own, doing your coalition. And of course, the ADC claim that whatever the president is alleging that they are trying to overthrow this administration is a false cry, and I believe so, because if you are doing well and you have a track record, I'm sure that people will be conversant, will even be happy with your administration. Of course, PDP saying they are losing ground, they need to hold tight if they can put their house in order. And if coalition, of course, can address or put their ego aside and forge, you know, ahead to produce a sellable candidate, not that they want to promote their individual ambitions, I think they can do the magic. And of course, not just to seize power or to wrest power from this current administration, but to give Nigeria a better alternative, you know, good governance, where a healthcare system works, and education, etc., and infrastructure. And of course, the issue of corruption. You are just saying in the studio, this former minister or former governor accusing this of owing this, accusing that of owing that. And we didn't see what our anti-graft agency are doing, no. So if they are coming with a better alternative, I see them, and you know, they should share their individual ambitions just for collective progress. I see them pulling up strong in 2027.
There you go. Let's quickly take a look at this Nigeria, Mr. Fetayo. And it's also something we spoke to earlier on. And you see, no single individual made Buhari president. Ex-SGF Mustafa says Buhari brought 12.2 million votes, while Tinubu and others only came with 3.2 million to the merger. Well, the extra information was put. He didn't mention anybody's name. He just talked about the others, but it's implied, absolutely. But what do you think about this debate around who brought what? Someone brought 12.2 million, you only brought 3.2 million votes. Mr. Fetayo, does this math,
yes,
does it work for you?
Yes, you know, before what he was trying to say, that before Buhari came to AC then, or what is known as APC now, that I think he came as a first runner-up in the previous
CPC
election, and CPC, yes, when he contested under the platform of CPC, 12.2 million vote, and where AC then has a measure of 3.2 million, has been stated. But you know, just like they said, election is a game of number. If you have it in that side and don't have it in this region, you can still not become the president. You don't have 50 plus % of the total cast vote. So we know that the role of president administration play when it comes to merger and putting in front. That was what I said earlier, that if they can share their personal ambitions and say, okay, let's support an individual, I think they can pull a stunt. But this one said he wants to become president, that one said he wants to become president. That's going to affect the ADC or the coalition. But if they can share their individual ambition and say that, okay, let's put up one credible candidate, yes, of course. But just like we said, election is a game of number. If you are short of some number, you might not become president. But we all know that this president administration or president play a huge role when the former president came into power. So that's Nigeria, no, even though he did not mention a name, just like we said, a tree does not make a forest. It takes, you know, from that zone, from this zone, coming together.
But Mr. Fetayo,
an input.
Let's dig deeper. Because this is a sign of something deeper. It's not just the numbers now. For him to have come out to give that clarification, clearly there's something wrong in-house, particularly with the APC, with the blocks of the CPC and the ACN. What do you sense is at play here, and what does this mean, or maybe mean, for the next election, particularly for who will become the APC presidential candidate, whom we almost know already?
I'm sure the former Attorney General was trying to say that Tinubu is not Tinubu that an individual does not make a president, does not make Tinubu. Of course, he's referring to Tinubu, and yes, we might want to say anything we want to say, but we know then he put his ambition aside and said, let's bring out a credible somebody who has the vote, who has the value, who has the number to come and play. But I'm sure, just like everybody said, that Tinubu should not be underestimated. He's seeing what they are doing. I'm sure he's
what I mean, pardon me, Mr. Fetayo, is this. Should President Tinubu be scared that he may not get that 12.2 million votes that Buhari brought to the table in court now? Because it looks like the CPC bloc is pulling back and saying we are not doing it again.
CPC scored 12 million, ACN scored 2 million.
That's Ribadu, when yes, Ribadu was a candidate.
Ribadu. Yes, it should be. It should be, because just like the feel, I think that even some Northerners, they are not happy. And you know, CPC, apart from then in Imo State, where they also, you know that in the most of the North, CPC or AMPP, and all of that, they are all from Buhari axis. Well, if he's saying that, of course, why not? He should be scared and begin to plot his own graph as well, because the election is a game of number. I know. It's a game of number.
All right. It seems like there's more election discussions to come in the coming days. Let's go to the New Telegraph now, Mr. Ifetayo. And the New Telegraph, of course, is leading with that visa restriction concern coming from the U.S. and now the United Arab Emirates. UAE stops transit visas, imposes stricter entry rules on Nigerians. And there are a few insights as nation grapples with Canada's 17 million POF for immigrants, cut in U.S. visa stay, traffic to deep, student numbers to fall, U.S. reciprocates Nigeria's visa policy. So it seems as if it's a reciprocal diplomatic action. Experts ask Nigeria to engage U.S. and UAE, and according to some reports, those discussions may have commenced. Of course, you've already spoken to this. I just wanted to capture the fact that this is a reciprocal diplomatic action. But let's go to the top corner of the New Telegraph, which is above the big story. And the former vice president is speaking here, and he says, ADC report of my rejection of Southern candidate diversionary tactic. That's ascribed to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Is it truly diversionary, or is it an acknowledgement of indeed his intention to contest, and he's saying, hey, you know, people just want to whip up sentiments, tribal sentiments in this away from what's important. How are you processing the former vice president's comment here?
Yeah, just like I said earlier on, he was trying to say that we should not, because of zoning, to bury competence, and because of that, maybe the primary should be made open, you know. So doing that, of course, we bring about division, and people want to capitalize on that. And of course, there might be saying that, oh, he's a southerner that is there, even if you want to produce a candidate, let's bring a southern candidate so that we can balance the equation. But of course, I'm sure if they should go by open primary based on the structure in court, we know the person that might emerge, and people from Labour Party are saying if they are not going to zone it to Southwest, we should pull out. You know, there are so many things that is unfolding in the ADC, and they need to manage it very well. And I think the earlier they speak, so the better for them and the Nigerians to know this is where we are going, this is who the presidential, where we are zoning it to, or if it's going to be open, so people that want to stay will stay. And don't forget too, I just pray that even the APC, they don't have their men there, you know, to cause some kind of distraction and all of that, a legal suit here and there. But of course, if Atiku want to play another statesman's role, you know, I think he said, well, let us come together. Since it's all about Nigerians, what they are going through, let's produce a candidate, let's support or whoever emerges, you know, let them show that they care more about Nigeria than their personal ambitions. If they can get their personal ambitions away from it, yeah.
Beyond personal ambition, when you turn here, some members of the ADC are saying we need a northern candidate to upset the 2027 presidential election result. When you turn the other way, the former SGF to the Federation is saying Tinubu didn't make Buhari president. We brought 12.1 million votes to the table. When you turn the other way, the former vice president is saying my comment against a southern candidate is diversionary. Is this pointing to the thinking of the Northern Bloc that indeed they want to present a northern candidate? Is this a power grab? And what are your permutations about what could happen if the obedience do not have their way in presenting a southern candidate?
Wait, I lost the last part. Can you come again?
What are your
concluding part?
Yes, what are your permutations about what could happen if the obedience do not have their way in presenting a southern candidate?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if the ADC can present a southern candidate, and based on the resentment from the northern part that, hey, we have the vote block, imagine it and backing a credible candidate, they can swing surprises, just like when APT came into power in 2015, you know, all forces merging together and they produced one candidate to go against the incumbent then, and they achieved their aim. But it's just that, like they said, maybe some of them, they didn't prepare for power. What they are after is just how to wrestle power from the present administration. But let's see as the day unfolds. If the ADC can put their house in order, if APC can do it 2015, I'm sure they can do it in 2027.
All right, Mr. Fatai Adeni, thank you so much for coming on the program. I appreciate you, our analyst joining us from London. Of course, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we will be dealing with the issues that matter to us. While the politicking is going on, our lived-in experience is what counts. And that's why we're talking the economy with SPM professional chief economist Paul Alaje joins us in just a moment.